Tonight on UATV, faculty is mourning the loss of a former colleague.
He loved Arkansas, he loved the people of Arkansas, and he worked very hard to give back whatever he could.
How he's being remembered.
And students prepare to study all around the world, how recent terrorist attacks are affecting their plans.
In apparel merchandising, students work to get their designs on the shelf, how one Walmart product brings their sketches to life. All that and more as UATV starts right now. Welcome to this Wednesday night edition of UATV. I'm Christopher Redfern.
And I'm Savannah Skipmore. Glad to have you with us tonight. Friends and colleagues are remembering the life of a former U of A president today.
Ray Thornton died of lung cancer this morning, and UATV's Adrian Rose sat down with former Chancellor Daniel Ferriter, who shared memories of what it was like to work alongside him.
And it was a difficult time for the university, and he was what we needed at the time.
Chancellor of the University of Arkansas, Daniel Ferriter, reminisces the life and success of a friend and colleague, Ray Thornton.
He was a giver, and he loved Arkansas, he loved the people of Arkansas, and he worked very hard to give back whatever he could.
As a 1956 U of A Law School graduate, Ray Thornton has received a lifetime's worth of accomplishments by serving the state of Arkansas.
When they have served as Attorney General, Congressman, President of Arkansas State, President of University of Arkansas, Congressman, Supreme Court, they've given their life to the state of Arkansas. And I think that's what Ray Thornton did.
While skilled in many areas, Ferriter recalls that Thornton was a pilot, and when flying between Fayetteville and Little Rock, he would introduce Ferriter to a passion of his.
One day he said, "Here, take hold of the thing." And what? He said, "Oh, do it, it's just a plane." And the next thing you know, I was taking flying lessons, and I flew a plane for 12 years.
While thinking back over the time spent with Thornton, if Ferriter had a chance to tell him anything, he would say,
"Thanks for everything you did for the people of Arkansas. You gave your life, and you can't give more than that." He was an outgoing, friendly, giving public servant.
Reporting for UATV, I'm Adrian Rose.
Services for Ray Thornton are still pending, but will be updated by the Rubel Funeral Home online obituary.
Over 400 protesters were arrested on the steps of the U.S. Capitol Monday for protesting the influence of money in politics and voter suppression. Many of the protesters are part of a group called Wolfpack, who are trying to use state legislators to add a constitutional amendment through an Article 5 convention. Reporter Jordan Martin has more details on the story.
That's right, Chris, and they'll need about 2/3 of the states to send in applications for the convention to happen. They currently have about 4 states on their side. The Democracy Springs protesters marched from the Liberty Bell all the way down to the Capitol steps. This was about a 130-mile hike. The protesters chanted things like "corporations aren't people" and "this is our house." When they were arrested, it took police about 4 hours. I spoke with a local Wolfpack member, Ronald Usler, who told me that they're fighting this because of a Supreme Court case that he says legalized bribery.
So what these corporations do now is they pour just unlimited amounts of money into these super PACs for political candidates to help them get elected. And they're not just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They want a return on investment. They're businessmen.
No one knows exactly why, but there has been a media blackout on this protest. Usler suspects that it's because money in politics benefits corporate media. For UATV, I'm Jordan Martin.
Thanks, Jordan. The protesters will risk arrest again and again, marching to the Capitol building every day for the remainder of the week. We are now joined by Selena, who is live on campus with a look at our weather. We saw some light rain kind of on and off today, and it seemed like every time I went outside, I couldn't manage to grab a jacket when I meant to. Selena, what's it like out there now?
Well, Chris, you definitely don't need an umbrella right now, but a few sprinkles here and there wouldn't surprise me a bit. Now, currently, it's mostly cloudy, and it's around 55 degrees right now. It feels like 54. And that's a little bit cool for this time of year. We're not exactly used to that. for this point in April. Now it's mostly cloudy, and that is the reason for those cool temperatures. The sun didn't even have a chance to poke out today and give us some of that natural warmth that we love this time of year. Now, the weekend is seeing more of a trend towards cloudy and more of a trend of warmer temperatures. So that spells out humidity, and it's going to be a long one for you guys here in Northwest Arkansas. But I'll be back with all that and more in a little bit. Back to you, Savannah.
Pomfret Hall is clear after a fire broke out earlier this afternoon. The Fayetteville Fire Department tweeted that they were on the scene, but that the fire had been cleared up. Buses were diverted around the area while officials responded. Students were allowed back in the building around 5 o'clock this evening.
The manhunt for a suspect in the Brussels attack is over. The attack was the 11th major attack by ISIS in 2016. AOC's Cortland Dees found out how these terrorist threats have affected U of A students studying abroad.
In the past 2 years, attacks linked to or inspired by ISIS have affected over 20 countries worldwide. 10 of those countries are home to a U of A study abroad program.
It's nerve-wracking for sure.
Sophomore Megan McTighe will spend next semester studying abroad in Spain.
For a while there was a high suggestion from the government not to travel to Europe, and so it's a big consideration in that I want to make sure that I'm safe before I'm going anywhere.
Staff at the Study Abroad office says health and safety has always been the most important part of studying abroad.
What we do in a day's work, the things we consider have not changed. What's changed is the world's changing. It's getting a little more complicated.
Long says all variables for safety are considered when a program is first proposed.
We need to be sure we've covered our bases in terms of staying informed and having good risk management in place, but it's always been a priority for us to do that.
Long says studying abroad is a unique way to experience personal and academic growth, and it is important to keep the risks involved in perspective.
You know, would you never go back to Boston again? Would you never go to San Bernardino, California? Would you never go to a movie theater again? Those are the kinds of things that you have to see that, relatively speaking, we still live our lives every day.
McTighe says the opportunity to experience another culture is worth the risk of living abroad.
With world events, there's always going to be something big going on, and so don't be scared of what could happen, but just go and experience instead of being held back by fear.
For Arkansas on Campus, I'm Cortland Dees.
Students interested in studying abroad can go to the Study Abroad and International Exchange office on Maple Street or head to studyabroad.uark.edu.
A former Fort Smith pastor was sentenced to 108 months in prison today. 34-year-old Thomas Edward James pled guilty to 1 count of mail fraud and making a false tax return after getting members of his congregation to invest in false bonds. James also admitted to owing more than $200,000 in taxes.
A man is recovering today after a motorcycle crash on MLK. Police say a juvenile driving a Chrysler 300 turned into a parking lot, hitting 41-year-old Robert Sanford. Sanford was heading the opposite direction on his Harley Davidson, and police have called in a reconstructionist to conduct an extensive investigation. Coming up next on UATV, Walmart takes students' designs to the shelves.
I think they're going to be inspired just to know that it's possible, that we can do this.
How clothing for dolls is affecting the careers of U of A undergrads.
And hiking lovers rejoice. Find out how Mount Kessler plans to expand their trails. Stay tuned, UATV will be right back. Well, tomorrow a group of apparel merchandising students will head to the Walmart headquarters in hopes that their clothing designs will be chosen for a My Life as a Doll line. UATV's Hannah Bortnick has more about this project.
They came in and they kind of explained the whole My Life As thing, and it was kind of like an American Girl doll version that Walmart carried, and the whole point was my life as a ballerina or my life as a volleyball player.
We didn't have a lot of time, I guess, to do this. I think we had like 3 weeks to do it, but like it was a good enough feeling that we got picked because I don't know, only 6 out of 40 got picked, or 4 out of 40 got picked, so that was a really good feeling.
This project started when a Walmart buyer and U of A graduate Haley Cochin approached the Assistant Director of Apparel Merchandising and Product Development, Kathy Smith, to see if students would do designs for the My Life As dolls. Brianna Sabatini and Gabby Wisson were 2 of the lucky students that were chosen last spring to have their designs stoled in Walmart starting last February. These students are starting to see their hard work pay off when they began to see their designs either in person at Walmart stores or online.
I just happened to be checking yesterday on the My Life As website and I saw my designs. And then yesterday I went to the store and they were there.
The first year, one student, her mother went, they were in Texas, and her mother bought every single fishing garment she could find for her friends and family and the cousins and everybody.
Every garment that is sold has a tag on it saying that a University of Arkansas student designed this outfit, and maybe because of this, little girls will be inspired to pursue careers in the fashion industry.
I think they're going to be inspired just to know that it's possible, that we can do this.
My little cousin Annabelle, she's 8, and when I told her I was designing something, I kind of wanted to ask her what her ideas were, and I actually went with that. She said she loved tie-dye, so I went with tie-dye. And she told me that she wanted to do what I'm doing because she was inspired by me.
Reporting for UATV, I'm Hannah Bortnick.
These students' designs will be sold in Walmarts across the country, and hopefully we'll see more U of A students' designs in stores this fall.
Coming up, a local hiking site could be getting an upgrade. How Mount Kessler fights to add more miles for visitors to enjoy.
And after the break, we'll have a look at your national weather. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to UATV.
Last night, the Parks and Recreational Advisory Board approved the expansion for Mount Kessler. The trail's master plan is in the works to be ready for all of your outdoor activities in the fall. UATV's Lauren Pizzi has more.
Thanks, Savannah. Right now I'm standing on the construction site for what will be known as Regional Park after it is built and finished in the fall. The park will consist of 200+ acres of soccer, baseball, and softball fields. In later phases, there will be playgrounds, basketball and sand volleyball courts, along with a permanent trailhead connected to Mount Kessler. I got in touch with the Parks and Recreational Planner, who told me about what they have in store for the up-and-coming 6 to 7 miles of trails.
We knew that the existing trails needed to be improved. There were problems there. And we also considered that we would be constructing new trails. And so we elected last year to have a master trails plan produced for Kessler Mountain.
Easton says the next step in the plan is to secure the use of all trails on private property for the overall expansion. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Lauren Pizzi.
The plan will now go before the City Council for official recognition and adoption on May 3rd.
And here's a last look at your weather to get you through the day. Tomorrow, about 9 a.m., we're looking at 53 degrees. Now, that's pretty mild. You'll probably even want a jacket at that point. But at noon, we're looking at mostly sunny, and it's going to be 64 degrees, and it's going to feel like 64. That's what that high pressure does, is keep it mild and simple. So at 3, we're looking at around 69 degrees, and it's going to feel like 69. So take advantage of some of that sun before it goes away all weekend. Back to you guys.
We end tonight remembering a university instructor who died last weekend after suffering from a heart attack.
UATV's Lauren Hoskins found out how Razorbacks across campus are celebrating his life.
The Faye Jones School of Architecture and Design lost a valuable member of their team of instructors. On Sunday, April 3rd, Tim LaTourette suffered a heart attack and passed. A few days before, I was able to sit down with him to talk about the guitar making class.
And once I started doing that and working on the guitars here in the shop, I had students start to ask me if I would teach them how to do it.
Christine Hilkers, the director of the Multimedia Research Center within the college, is coordinating with his wife Rebecca for a celebration.
I'm putting together a PowerPoint of pictures of Tim and his family and Tim at work.
She says she has nothing but fond memories of him.
Just the week before he died, I had been in there looking at his latest guitar that he was working on, and he was showing it to me and what it was going to look like.
La Tourette definitely left a mark on campus.
I started working here at the university in 2003, and for about 2 years prior to that, I built a house for my family out in Goshen. And for 15 years prior to that, I ran a small remodeling and construction business, kind of a design build business. And through the years in my construction business, I started doing more built-in furniture and kitchen cabinets and things like that. And that kind of segued me into the furniture interests.
For UATV, I'm Lauren Hoskins.
That's going to be it for us here at UATV. I'm Christopher Redfern.
And I'm Savannah Skipmore. Have a nice night.